So I, as a little girl, wasn't in the best situation. My parents constantly fought. I remember bruises all over my mother. I remember my dad screaming and yelling, and one day he'd be gone, and then a couple months later they would be fine. Dealing with stuff like that as a kid, we don't really know what's going on, but we know something's wrong. I also remember as a little girl, I was outside and I think a friend of mine was playing hide and seek, and I thought her apartment was a certain apartment, and I went to knock on it, and it wasn't her house because I thought she had left me, and it was a man. And I had seen him around because he lived in the apartments, but I put myself in a situation where I ended up getting abused by a 40-something-year-old man at 8. And I went through counseling. My mom took me through counseling, and I was at police departments, and I didn't know what was going on. Things were really hard. My mom wasn't there very often. She was drinking a lot, and she didn't really want to be home. I noticed at the time some of my friends were like interested in boys, and I was only 13. And I remember the first guy that showed me attention, he took advantage of me. And from then on, I felt like something had changed. I found myself feeling like I needed to fill a void, and so I felt like any boy that was giving me attention, I gave it to him and he gave it to me. And so I started having sex at the age of 13, and I got into a situation where I was with another guy and he was emotionally abusive, and this guy had told me he loved me, and I thought everything was fine. And then I get into a situation where I didn't want to be here anymore. And so I started self-harm, and I ended up in health facilities, and there was a time I tried to run my mother off the road. And I just didn't have somebody telling me everything was gonna be okay, we were gonna make it through it.
Growing up, domestic violence was a big deal. This would be an everyday thing with my parents. It was scary for my younger siblings, so I would just keep them in the room, and it was loud, and I knew they were scared, so I would just put the TV volume up a little bit higher, and you could just hear. I know my mom was aggressive, so I know I would hear like bowls shattering in the kitchen. And I remember one time my dad screaming because I know she threw one on his head, and just verbally abused towards each other. My older brother, he would get hit for not throwing out the trash. My brother and my sister ran away when they were young, and I wish life would be different for them. And my oldest brother, we haven't seen him since he was 18. He came out of juvenile. After that day, we picked him up. He just left. He didn't even want to get in the car to come home. But I knew he would be in a better place. I was in my relationship, and we split up. I was like 4.5 months pregnant when I moved into my mom's, and I was just realizing I don't know how I was gonna do it. I just came one day because I was probably like 6 months pregnant with my first baby, and I I didn't know what this place was gonna be, if I was gonna like it.
Y en las mujeres también.
Coming to the center, I've been doing classes. Rise Above Abuse, I've done that one like 3 times, and I got my certificate with Joanna. I've done Love and Logic, cooking, I've done knitting. I always do holistic parenting, and it's most likely verses out of the Bible, and I write them down, and then I started making like little frames that I'm gonna end soon do my own. I've been receiving diapers and wipes and household items, formula, and it helps a lot of us people in need. Me going to the Hope's Women's Center, I've learned how to cope through everything. It's just so welcoming. They ask you how you've been. If they haven't seen you for a long time, they just hug you and they just love on your babies. I just want the best for my kids, and I'm gonna give them my love and my support through it all and give them a better childhood than I had.
I met a guy, and a couple months into our relationship, I ended up pregnant. And I was almost 16 years old. From then on, we tried to get jobs. We were living in and out of people's homes, family homes, and we just had to grow up. We had to do something. When we have a child now, we have to grow up quick. I was kind of outside getting things ready to go into the house, and my neighbor caught me and was like, oh, hey, I noticed you have kids. There's a center here in town, and they help. I started going to worship, and then after that, I started going and trying the creative class that does the, projects or the games or the art. And that class really just, you kind of forget about everything. When I started going, I immediately felt welcomed. I didn't feel any kind of fear. I felt safe. Now I feel amazing. There's so much love in this building, and I feel like a part of the family. This center has helped me really, really strengthen my relationship with Christ. I feel like there's a lot of energy, good, powerful energy in this building, and it has showed me He is there. He is real, and I can get help. I can overcome anything through God.